For the sixth straight season in the Rod Brind'amour era, the Carolina Hurricanes are going to the second round.
You're Locked On Hurricanes, your daily podcast on the Carolina Hurricanes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to a Wednesday edition of Locked On Hurricanes, your team every day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you to the Everydayer for making this your first listen of the day, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, covering your Carolina Hurricanes. I am your host, Zach Martin. I am the Carolina Hurricanes beat writer over at the Hockey Writers. I am also the co-host of the Searchcast, along with my other duties here at Locked On Hurricanes. I am so excited to bring you guys a Wednesday series clinching edition of the podcast. This whole episode is just talking about Game 5 and the fact that your Carolina Hurricanes, for the sixth straight season, are going to the second round of the NHL playoffs. But before we get into everything that surrounded Game 5, today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Oh my goodness, what a game. Game 5 of the series against New York Islanders, and the Carolina Hurricanes came out and put in the business, put in the work, whatever you want to put it. The Hurricanes have won. They beat the Islanders 6-3 in Game 5 to clinch the series 4-1, and they are now second round bound. And we knew they were going to be playing, like we said on Tuesday's episode. It was the New York Rangers, and now it's official. Hurricanes, Rangers, number 1 in the Metro, President's Trophy winning New York Rangers will take on the number 2 seed of the Carolina Hurricanes. The team who's won the division 3 years prior in a row. We're back-to-back years in a row, but either way you look at it, it is going to be a fun series, but that'll be a Thursday episode of the show. This episode is just nothing but Game 5, as they will stay in New York state of mind, but it's really going to be Raleighwood state of mind, because it's now back-to-back series against New York teams, but it doesn't matter. The Carolina Hurricanes have done it. They won it at home. Ended that series a lot sooner than we saw it last year, where it ended in 6. This one ended in 5, and oh my goodness, this game had absolutely everything. Like, quick goals in succession, up 3-1, Islanders tie it, Hurricanes, score some quick goals, get back in front, dagger late on, exchanging of words, great saves. I mean, this game was full-blown, full-tilt chaos hockey from start to finish, and what a way to end this series against a very tough New York Islanders team. Yeah, it ended in 5, but it was definitely one where there's a lot of battles and a lot of comebacks throughout the entire series, and we'll definitely go more into a series recap on Thursday's show. But like I said, it's just, I want to keep this episode on a positive high, coming off the win on Tuesday night, where, like I said, the Hurricanes won 6-3, some big goals. We even saw a penalty shootout goal. That really tells you something of just how insane Game 5 was for the Carolina Hurricanes. The big story is the fact that just scoring in general for the Hurricanes, you got it all up and down the lineup. It seemed like almost everyone scored a goal in tonight's game. You saw, like I said, Teuvo Teravainen scored a goal. Evgeny Kuznetsov gets a penalty shot goal. Jack Drury gets his first playoff goal as well. Stefan Noesen scores it not even 8 seconds later. It's just all around. It was just a wild game, and even Seth Jarvis hits it with the empty netter. And just the fact that you saw a different tale of all 3 periods. The Hurricanes come out flying, get 2 goals in the first 3 minutes of the period. And then, the Islanders had a strong second, came back and tied it. They got their tying goal with 22 seconds left in the period. And then the third, it was just all Carolina, like just 3 unanswered, ends at 6-3. But just going back to like the first period, the Hurricanes, get two pretty quick. You really can't, go wrong with how that whole game played out. And just with, Teuvo Teravainen scores in the, a minute 23 in, and then just not that much later, a couple minutes, you get Andrei Svechnikov on the power play. You love to see it. Andrei has been, really trying all series to get his first playoff goal against the Islanders in the series. He finally does it. He had 4 assists, going through the first 4 games, and he comes out and gets his, power play goal and gets gets that one, and you love to see it. And then, the Islanders do, get their power play goal themselves, not that long after, but then just an awesome moment for Evgeny Kuznetsov. So for the fact that Romanov of the Islanders plays the puck in the crease with his bare hand, which is a no-no. You can't play with your hand, and the Hurricanes are awarded a penalty shot. And of course, in that situation, you can pick whoever you want. And I mean, obviously, if you're at Brind'amour, you got to go with Evgeny Kuznetsov because that dude is a penalty shootout specialist, and he does exactly that. He scores it with the absolute slow crawl that, if you're on the opposing team, you hate it. But if you are the team that has him on if you have him on your team, you love that crawl. And that's just exactly what it was for the Hurricanes. And the crazy part for that is it took 12.36 seconds from whistle to goal for, Evgeny Kuznetsov to score that goal. And that was actually, timed by, Chris Jazzer Zimbinski. He's the NHL on TNT researcher, or nicknamed Jazz, but big shout out to him for being able to time that 12.36 seconds for the Evgeny Kuznetsov goal from whistle to shot. It goes in, waits out Varlamov. Varlamov tries to poke check it, and then the second he puts his stick out, Kuzi just puts it in the net, makes it 3-1. You get that 2-goal lead back, and you end the period 3-1. And you just love to see how it worked out for the Hurricanes. Just they came out flying right from the rip. Like I said, 2 goals under 3:30, and then not even like I said, 5 minutes into the period, 5 minutes into the game, even you're 3 goals, and you just knew right from that start it was going to be absolutely insane. And that's what we got. That's exactly what we got the whole time. And just for the fact that you saw a playoff penalty shot goal from Evgeny Kuznetsov, the Birdman has officially landed in the playoffs for the Hurricanes, and it's just that was just great. It was you love to see it like that. And the fact that Evgeny Kuznetsov scored the second penalty shot goal in the franchise playoff history for the Hurricanes. The only other guy to do it, Jordan Martinook, last year in the round 2 against the New Jersey Devils. Like, that's it. There's 2 guys who've done it. Jordan Martinook last year in the second round against the New Jersey Devils, and then you got Evgeny Kuznetsov in the first round against New York Islanders this year. And that's just, you love to see it. You love to see how that worked out for the fact that you have 2 guys now on the team at the same time who've scored penalty shootout goals in back-to-back playoffs. So big shout out to Evgeny Kuznetsov for that great goal. Way to just absolutely just wait for Varlamov out and basically just made him get antsy. And you scored, and that's what you want to see. That's what you bring this guy in for. And real quick, just going back to the Teuvo Teravainen Andrei Svechnikov goals, it took him 3 minutes and 13 seconds to score those 2 goals, and it's the fastest 2 goals to start a playoff game. Now, it's not the fastest in history, but it is part of the top 10, which the quickest was the Calgary Flames back in round 2 of the 2022 playoffs against it was game 1, and they did it in 51 seconds. So I don't really see any team beating 51 seconds when you scored 2 goals that quick, but the Flames did it back in round 2 of 2022 in game 1. But the fact that the Hurricanes now, game 5, round 1 of 2024, is now part of a history of where you see the fastest 2 goals to start a playoff game, and this is since 2009. So that is just really cool to see. And for the fact that, too, going back to Evgeny Kuznetsov real quick, He's become the second player in NHL history to score a penalty shootout goal in a potential series clinching game, which turned into a clinching game. The only other player to do it, Eric Lindros, during Game 5 of the 1997 conference semifinal. So that's a big company to join for Evgeny Kuznetsov and his goal, and the fact that he did it, the way he did, and it's in company with Eric Lindros, or the fact you scored a penalty shot goal in a game that clinches you a series. So a lot of guys joining some elite companies and putting some names and stats into some history books for the playoffs, not just for the Hurricanes, but just for the NHL as a whole. And you just love to see how that worked out. So there's a lot more that we're going to dive into for the Hurricanes in their Game 5 win to advance to the second round of the 2024 NHL playoffs. We'll get more into our review, reactions, thoughts on Game 5 here in a second on a Wednesday clinching series edition of Locked On Hurricanes. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors is everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace for the NBA, which makes getting playoff tickets even faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets. The thing I really like about Game Time is the fact that you get last-minute tickets, flash deals, and even some zone deals. And also the views from the seats in the venue as well, and also their lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, and job loss protection. In terms of last minute deals, you can save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy theaters, and so much more. With their flash deals, you can save even more with exclusive in-app deals on select seats ahead of the game or event. And if you're looking into some zone deals, you can even save there when you choose a section and you let the Game Time app choose the seats for you. And talk about the seats themselves. With their awesome seat view feature, you get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy, so that way you know what you are looking at before you buy your tickets. And with their lowest price guarantee, you get the lowest price guarantee with the Game Time app, or they will credit you 110% of the difference. And with their ticket coverage, your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL. It's LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. We are back for segment 2 of Locked On Hurricanes, your team every day. And we are back to talking more about the amazing game that was Game 5 for the Carolina Hurricanes. As they do advance to the second round, they will be playing the New York Islanders. So I know with the second period, it wasn't the greatest for the Hurricanes. With all the good, we do have to talk about a little bit of just how that period went. You could definitely tell the Islanders came out in the second period. They really tried to push the envelope. They wanted to get back in it. They had the Hurricanes basically on the back foot the entire period. I would say that the middle period through the entire series is essentially the Achilles heel right now of the Hurricanes, where you're basically getting outshot you're getting outscored that entire period, and it's something that I think is something the Hurricanes are going to probably need to focus on, and which I think Rod and his staff will do, and that they need to be able to find a way to figure out how to turn their second period lulls into something where you can play a full, complete 60 minutes, because that's what the team needs right now, because you're playing against the New York Rangers, who just swept the Washington Capitals. Now, I know the Capitals weren't a great team per se on paper compared to the Rangers, but even still, like, it wasn't the easiest series for them. But if you're playing the New York Rangers, who just won the President's Trophy, and you kept up with them pretty much the entire regular season, you still need to find a way to get the job done and play a full 60 minutes. And that's what you kind of need from the Hurricanes. And just the way that second period went for them is the fact that you're up 3-1, you give up a goal, 3:47 into Brock Nelson. Not the greatest way you want to do it. And then with 22 seconds left, Casey Zizekas on a almost essentially a fire drill and a rush was able to score a goal. And you totally can't blame it on Freddie. Yes, he was trying to get back into position and unfortunately kind of went a little too far, toe picked himself and basically left the net wide open. Not 100% his fault, but you could definitely tell the team was fire drilling a lot in that middle frame, and you don't really want to do that. So that's something where when you go play the New York Rangers, you've got to tighten up that second period, because you need to play a full 60, especially against them, because it doesn't get any easier after round one. Now you're going to, a situation where now it's basically that division final before you go into the conference finals. You're in the second round now. Like, you really got to be, tightening it up and getting the job done, and that's what the Hurricanes need to do. But the third period, once again, man, just like how the first period went, the Hurricanes were absolutely flying, and it didn't take long for the Hurricanes to score 2 goals, and they scored them pretty quick. 4:36 into the period, you get Jack Drury scoring a goal, and that was his first of the playoffs. Absolutely amazing. You love to see it for the guy. Throughout the regular season, he had at least 2 or 3 goals called back, and just the fact that he was able to score, did what he needed to, was a clutch moment. And we have Seth Jarvis as a Yarvard grad, but the Harvard grad himself, Jack Drury, scored the goal, which ended up being the game winner. So for the fact that your first ever playoff goal was a game winning goal to clinch you a series, you can't be more happy for the guy, because he's been working really hard, especially for the last half of the season. He's been working really tough. You put him back as a center. He played wing for the last couple of games, but you put him back into the center position, his natural role, and he comes up with a clutch moment. And you love to see it for a guy like him. And the Hurricanes are up 4-3, and then not even 8 seconds later, Steph Noesen, Mr. Net Front Presence himself, gets another one for the Hurricanes. And it just took a weird bounce off the boards. Varlamov was behind the net, and it left a wide open net for Steph Noesen just to tap it in, and that's what he did. And now you go from tied 3-3, and within 8 seconds you're up 5-3, which is insane to think about, because it's back in game 2, the Hurricanes scored 9 seconds apart, and that was the one where Sebastian Aho ties it, and then 9 seconds later, Jordan Martineau gets the lead, and then the Hurricanes goes and win that game. And that's game 2. Like, you go down, score 2, and now you're up, and you won the game. And now the same thing for this one. In game 5, you're tied. Next thing you know, you're up 5-3, and you're really putting the pressure on the Islanders. And the fact that the Hurricanes are the first team in postseason history to score 2 goals in less than 10 seconds multiple times in the same series. Yeah, you think of how long the NHL's been around, and the Hurricanes are the first team to do that. Not once, but twice. The score within 10 seconds in the same series twice. It's the only other team to. It's just crazy to think about, for the fact that you look at how the fact that the Hurricanes did it. But in terms of just like even like diving deeper, and this is from Hurricanes PR itself with the NHL records, the Hurricanes actually become the second team in league history to score 2 goals in the span of less than 10 seconds twice in the single postseason. So initially it seemed like, from Sportsnet that they were the first team to do it, but in terms of actual records by the NHL, they are the second team to do it where they scored twice. The only other team to do it was the Edmonton Oilers back in 1983, where they scored in a span of 7 seconds and 8 seconds in the same series. And for the fact that both teams did it within 8 seconds of each other in 8 days. So within 8 days, both of those teams were able to score multiple goals with under 10 seconds. Like, what more can you really say? Just how that period ended, how that period started with, Jack Drury scoring, and then you go and get Stefan Noesen scoring as well. You just love it. You love to see. You loved it. Like I said, you saw scoring all up and down the lineup. Teuvo Teravainen scored. Andrei Svechnikov. Evgeny Kuznetsov with the penalty shot goal. Jack Drury scored. Stefan Noesen scored. I mean, what more can you ask for? Oh, and then Seth Jarvis didn't want to feel left out of the shooting party. He scores too. He gets the empty netter to really ice it, put the dagger in, and the Hurricanes go and win 6-3 and end the series. And that's just something that you're as a Hurricanes fan, you're buzzing. You're buzzing from that because now it's like, okay, now we just got to wait for Toronto and Boston and everyone else. Now you're just waiting to see how the rest of the first round shakes out before you start getting a full schedule of what round 2 is. So yeah, you get some time off. You get to regroup, relax, and just come off of riding the high that you saw on Tuesday night with the Hurricanes winning 6-3. So we are going to go into some extra stuff as well, just a little bit more housekeeping and tidying up of Game 5, and also getting some quotes from the guys post game as well in our third segment, which will be here in a little bit on a Wednesday series clinching edition of Locked On Hurricanes. All right, game off. We got to pause here to talk more about Monopoly Go. I know what you're saying. Flag on the play. You already talked about that. But there's just so much good stuff in this game. In Monopoly Go, you can team up with friends for timed tournaments where you work together to build up each other's boards. The more you win together, the more awesome prizes you unlock. And there's so much to get. Unique stickers you can trade with friends to complete albums for big prizes. Cool new playing pieces to travel the boards with. Hilarious emojis for taunting friends when you smash their buildings or heist their vaults. Plus, Monopoly Go feels new and exciting every day with constantly changing tournaments and challenges. A ton including their own unique mini games like digging for treasure or a robot pachinko machine. And there's always new timed events to help you win big, like massive multipliers for everything you win or rent frenzies. There's always something fun to discover in Monopoly Go. So get off the bench and go download it now, free on Google Play or the App Store. Game on. Welcome back to his third segment of Locked On Hurricanes, your team every day. We are now going to tidy up and wrap up this episode in a nice little bow. Talking to all the sights and sounds of the post game from the players after the Hurricanes won on Tuesday night 6-3 to eliminate the New York Islanders and advance to the second round of the 2024 NHL playoffs. The fact that this is the 6th straight season the Hurricanes won the first round playoff series, they are the first team with a series win in 6+ straight playoff appearances since the Detroit Red Wings did it, which was 6 back from the 1995 through the 2000 season. So once again, the Hurricanes putting themselves in some elite company of the fact that they are, a team that can show up in the first round under head coach Rod Brind'amour, and the fact that now they've gone 6 straight seasons with winning a first round in the playoffs. And, hopefully, we see that continue next season as well. But huge shout out to Rod Brind'amour and his staff and just being able to lead this team and doing what they do to win 6 straight playoff series. And even just talking about the playoffs in general, the Carolina Hurricanes since 2019 against the New York Islanders, they are 12-3 in the playoffs. And as the Hurricanes said on social media, it's not trash talk, it's just fact. 15 games, 12-3 record. The Carolina Hurricanes just know they have the New York Islanders number. That's all you can really say about that. So post-game, we got some quotes from players and staff, mostly Rod Brind'amour, but this is what the guys had to say after the game. Asking Steph Noesen on the strong start to the third period for them to close out the game in the series, Stefan Noesen said, "This is what makes a good team a good team. Short, sweet, simple. Like, you go out, you score 2 goals pretty quick, the fast way you did it, and you get the icing on the cake, you get the dagger from Seth Jarvis. There you go. 6-3, series done. 6-3 win, 4-1 series win. That's all you can really ask for." So, yep, Steph Noesen said it perfectly. What makes a good team? A good team. Evgeny Kuznetsov, Kuznetsov on the, once again, talking about that strong third period. "I'm glad we continued working and got those 2 goals." Yeah, essentially. That's all it was. They got him pretty quick, and that's all you can really say on. And even talk about Evgeny Kuznetsov, they asked Seth Jarvis about, the Birdman's, penalty shot goal in Tuesday's game. "We know how nasty he is. We've seen him do it to us a few times too. To see it work for us in a moment like that was absolutely massive." And Seth Jarvis said it perfectly. That really helped the Hurricanes out. You go up 2-0. The Islanders, get a power play goal themselves really quick right after that, make it 2-1, and then you get a penalty shot. And, Evgeny Kuznetsov comes in the clutch and does it. And there you go, 3-1. And it helps the team, lead the way for a 6-3 win. And like I said, Seth Jarvis said it perfectly. It's good to have, have him on the team and to make and be clutch in a huge moment like that. So that's all you can really say. And even, they've also asked, Seth Jarvis, talking to him some more, talking about the veteran presence in the locker room, setting the tone for the third period after that kind of rough second. Seth said it perfectly. They kept us calm. We never really got flustered. And that's the one good thing to have, for the fact that that's what's so great about the leadership core that the Hurricanes have, is the fact that you can have a period like that in the second, but you go into the locker room, go into intermission, and you don't let it permeate, you don't let it get worse, and the team just calms down, goes back to what they need to do. And that's what the Hurricanes did. They got back to Hurricanes hockey, scored 2 goals pretty quick, and then, like I said, got the third goal from Seth Jarvis. You win at 6-3. It didn't turn into a snowball effect where, okay, you're down or you're up and then you lose a lead and then it just goes sideways. And that's not what happened. It never went sideways. And that's the one good thing about, Jacob Slavin, Jordan Stahl, Jordan Martinook, Seth, Sebastian Aho. Those guys know how to keep this team grounded. And that's what makes a really great playoff team, is the fact that you have a leadership core who can keep these guys' emotions in check and get them back to the way they need to be. And that's something that's really, really great. Post-game, Rod Brind'amour, with a complete team effort, the media asked him what his feelings are for the complete team effort and the win. He says, "You can't win a series without everyone contributing in some form or fashion." And that's essentially what it was. Like, Game 5 alone, almost a lot. You saw scoring up and down the lineup, and that's all you really needed. Frederick Anderson, how about a series for that guy? He gave up 3 goals tonight, but overall, he's given up no more than 3. That's 3 in back-to-back games, but in Game 4 was in double overtime. Frederick Anderson played a great series in net, played all 5 games, and like I said, you saw scoring up and down the lineup. And of course, we'll go into a full series recap on Thursday's show, but overall, Rod said it perfectly, and that's what the Hurricanes did, and that's all you can really ask for out of them. And it's just great to see that the Hurricanes have done it again, and they just found a way to do what they needed to do, and they won the game. And now we get to see more playoff hockey from the Carolina Hurricanes, and we do know it's against the New York Rangers, so that should be a very, very high-end talent, very exciting, very physical series. So that's going to be really some to keep an eye on, and definitely one's going to be very, very interesting for sure. But that will wrap up a series clinching Wednesday edition of Locked On Hurricanes. Like I said, as always, thank you to the Everyday for making this your first listen of the day. it's a lot of fun just interacting with everyone on social media. It seems like everyone's really been liking the show. So thank you to everyone for the support. If you want to reach out to me on social media, you can find me at OneTrueZach on Twitter. You also can find the podcast at Ella_Hurricanes. That'd be greatly appreciated. If you click the link tree in my bio, you can find out where to find my articles at the Hockey Writers, along with newsletters and premium content. You can also check out my other podcast I do called the Search Cast. It's more of just a weekly show and all that good stuff. And then you can also, that's where you can find where to listen and where to watch on YouTube on that side of things. And you also find links to listen to this podcast on all podcast platforms. If you do, please leave a 5-star rating. That would help me grow the show and be able to get this out to more Hurricanes fans. And if you leave a review on your 5-star rating, I might just read that on the podcast. And if you're on the YouTube side of things, where if you see the link for the YouTube, make sure to hit subscribe, because we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We're just over 800 now. And like I said, I want to do something cool for everyone at 1,000. So let's make sure to get that done. And then also make sure to hit the bell notification so you don't miss when a new video is out. Also hit the thumbs up button, because that'll help me greatly get boosted on YouTube as well. And like I said, as always, make sure to share with fellow Hurricanes fans and hopefully make them everydayers just like you as well. But like I said, that'll wrap up this episode. I hope everyone enjoys this. I hope everyone enjoyed the Wednesday episode of Locked On Hurricanes, where we just discussed everything that was a series clinching Game 5-1 for your Carolina Hurricanes. And until next time, guys, let's go Canes.